Hi, everyone. I'm Carli,
And I'm Sophia.
and this is Away She Goes, a podcast from girls who travel.
Each episode will help you feed your wanderlust with travel tips, stories, inspiration, and more. Away she goes.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Away She Goes. Today, Sophia and I are going to be talking about a new destination, San Francisco.
Yeah, and since I've never been, I'll be the host tonight. I'll ask Carly some questions. She's been before, and I'll start you off with the facts. So, San Francisco is a city in Northern California in the United States of America. Their population is just a little bit over 808 million. No, that's thousands. That's thousands, Sophia.
1,000.
Good morning. I'm sorry.
Good morning.
As of 2003. And I find this very fascinating that in America, most states and cities have like a city bird and a flower. And the bird is the red-masked parakeet, which is a native. It's also not on the flag. I'm not really sure what the point is with these things, but I find it very funny. And then the city flower is the dahlia, which is also not native. I wonder how they choose
What's
them.
the point? Yeah.
Right.
You said 2003 for population, not 2023.
Oh, 2020. I'm so sorry.
It's
Bit of brain fog this
I
morning.
was like 2003.
That's very old numbers there.
Yeah, I was gonna say my research wasn't that outdated.
So, how are you getting to San Francisco and how are you getting around? There's an airport. The airport code is SFO. It's a very large international airport. So if you're lucky, you may be able to get a direct flight from whether nationally or internationally. You can also drive there from most places in Canada or the US, depending on how much of a driver you are and how much you enjoy that activity. They have a subway system known as the BART or BART,
Art.
that is spelled. But they also have buses. You can get a rental car or you can get around with taxis and Ubers. And there are some cable cars, also very decorative and touristy, though, probably. But Carly will tell us a bit more about that later.
Yes, I will. So first and foremost, I have been to San Francisco a couple of times now. I have a friend that lived there for a while, so I've gone to visit her a few times. The food. So everybody, when you travel to a new place, at least me, it's like, what's there to eat? What's good?
Mm-hmm.
San Francisco has a lot. Chinatown, San Francisco, a lot of big cities in the United States, and I think abroad even as well, have a district known as Chinatown. New York has a Chinatown, LA has a Chinatown.
London
San
has a
Francisco's
Chinatown.
Chinatown, yeah, London does. San Francisco's Chinatown is, I think, one of the more well-known, especially being on the West Coast. A lot of immigrants from China and from Japan, those other countries in Asia they would typically settle in California or in Oregon or Washington before settling on the East Coast because it's closer. Like I know in Oregon,
Yeah.
there's Portland, Oregon has a very large like Thai community, for example. So San Francisco's Chinatown is, in my opinion, having been to both, superior to New York's. The food in San Francisco's Chinatown is phenomenal. Like you really can find a lot of authentic places because these people are all immigrants from China. They all come over. This is how they start their business. So Chinatown is my recommendation for like some of the best food you will have in San Francisco. Every time I go to San Francisco, I have to have a meal in Chinatown, period. Like it's not up for debate. Ghirardelli Square, for those of my listeners with a sweet tooth, and yes, that is the same Ghirardelli as the chocolate. I am not a big American chocolate fan. Sophia knows more than anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I
Sending her
I
regular
love a good
shipments of Milka
German
bars.
chocolate bar, some Belgian chocolate, some German chocolate. However, Ghirardelli Square is a location in San Francisco where there's a big like flagship Ghirardelli store, and you can buy like all sorts of manners of Ghirardelli chocolate. So if you're a chocolate fan, definitely make a stop there. Fisherman's Wharf is another one. I'm going to touch on that too. That's also an activity and a sight to see, but I would almost compare it to a boardwalk. like you would see in like Ocean City or like Coney Island or, Santa Monica Pier. It's almost like a boardwalk kind of area where there's tourist shops and a lot of restaurants. A lot of the restaurants are very good, but a lot of them are also very touristy. So make sure that you do your research beforehand. You've got like the very typical touristy places, but then you also have places that are worth eating and, that are very, very good. So definitely check out the restaurants there while you're seeing it as a site. And there's a couple of foods that San Francisco is kind of famous for, like New York is famous for, our pizza. Um, it's a big
Hamburg is
art,
famous for bread rolls with fish inside.
right. And Belgium is famous for French fries,
Yep.
right? And waffles.
Yes.
When I had a layover in Brussels on my way back from Africa. I didn't leave the airport, but I got a Belgian waffle and that was what I ate. I was like, I have to.
Oh
This
yeah.
is I'm like, I can't have anything else. It's not allowed. Anyway, so one of the foods that San Francisco is known for is called Ciopino, which is a hearty seafood stew. It originated in the Italian American community, of which there is also a big presence in San Francisco, um, in North Beach in the late 1800s. And San Francisco is also known for Dungeness crab, which is a breed of crab that lives in the water right outside of the city in the Bay Area. So they have a lot of it there. So if you're in San Francisco, if you're in Little Italy, their version of Little Italy, make sure to try the Ciopino and make sure you go somewhere that has Dungeness crab. And even just in general, being a coastal city, the seafood in San Francisco is very good.
So what is there to see and do other than eat your own body weight in good food?
There's a lot. There's actually a lot to do. I mentioned Fisherman's Wharf before, kind of a boardwalky area. They have, like the typical like Ripley's, believe it or not, like touristy kind of stuff like that. There's different pier numbers, and at Pier 39, you can see the famous sea lions that live in San
Yes, I've heard of
Francisco.
that.
They They're something to see. They're very loud. They all just kind of crowd together on these like floating docks that are in the water, and they just I don't know if they bark. I don't know what to call what they do, but they're just like barking. And they're really funny watching them interact with each other because they're all wet and they come up out of the water and they like hop their fat little bodies all over the place and they like push each other off the docks, and it's really funny to watch them. Don't interact with them though, but watch them from a distance. They're a lot of fun to watch. So Fisherman's Wharf in general, some of the different piers, Pier 39 is where you will see the sea lions. A very, very famous landmark in San Francisco is called Lombard Street. Sophie, have you ever heard of Lombard Street?
I had to Google it. I've seen it. I didn't know the
Yes.
name of the street.
Yeah. So it's called Lombard Street. It's very curvy. It's
Yeah,
it's
that is the best way to describe
it's
it.
it basically is the street. It goes down a hill, and instead of just going straight down a hill, it just kind of like zigzags back and forth down the hill. There's these very, very tight turns. You can drive it. People do. They just have to go really, really slow. The times I've never driven on it, I've looked at it from like the bottom of the hill. I've like looked
Hmm.
at it, and that's how you get the good view of it, is looking at it from a distance, but you can drive it if you want to. I think the most famous probably landmark in San Francisco is the Golden Gate Bridge. This I
Definitely.
have driven over. So you've got San Francisco on one end of the bridge, and then you have Sausalito, which is a suburb of San Francisco, on the other side of the bridge. So you can drive it. A lot of people walk out onto it, either all the way across or part way across, ride bikes. You can do those like Segway tours of the city where they bring you over it. So there's plenty of ways to either just see it from a distance or go across it if you feel so inclined. A word of warning. The Golden Gate Bridge has its own, I swear, it has its own little like microclimate. So the last time I went, actually both times I've gone, it has been completely covered by fog. I
Oof.
managed to get yeah, it's like those pictures like when you see people like who go to Machu Picchu and it's just clouds. Like
Yeah.
both times I've gone, I managed to get the first time I went, I managed to get like a picture of it. It was super cloudy, a
Mhm.
picture of it before it was completely covered. And then the last time I went I was there 2 summers ago for my friend's wedding. I
Mhm.
could not get any sort of
Oh.
from any kind of distance. And then you go half a mile inland away from the bridge and it's like sunny and 75. At the bridge, it's cloudy and foggy and cool and wet and moist. And then you go a little bit away and it's like you can even see as you're driving towards it, you're driving in the sun, you see just wall of clouds. So fair warning.
Yeah, so if you want to see the San Francisco Bridge, the Golden Gate Bridge, if you want to see that, but in good weather, then you go to Lisbon and look at the bridge of the 25th of April.
Look at their
That's what
bridge.
their suspension of the bridge is called, which looks very, very similar. I've seen and
It
driven
does
over
look very
that one.
similar.
Not San Francisco though.
But yeah, it's very frustrating because that's like the iconic landmark and you want to get a picture so bad and usually
Weather
anytime
is
I
like,
see
nah.
these anytime I see these sunny pictures, I'm like, when were you there? Because that's not, and I was there in the summer both times and it did not look like that. So I don't
Is
know what
that
sorcery.
AI generated?
It probably is. Like, I don't know what sorcery you all are doing to make it sunny, but that's not what happened when I was there.
Maybe it's Adobe Photoshop revealing their new fog removal filter or something.
Yeah, they're like, put it into Chat GPT and like, hey, make this a nice sunny day and see what happens. I could try that. I wonder if that would work. So Chinatown, I already mentioned for the food. It is really cool just to walk around too. A lot of places have shops and there's a lot of cultural influence there. Like you'll see like lanterns hanging over the street like you
Mm.
would in China or in Vietnam. Like so it's really cool also to just walk around and explore, go into the little shops and that kind of thing.
I have a little
If you
tangent for you there.
Oh yes, I love a tangent.
Yes, because if you're like me and San Francisco is not even close on your current agenda, but this episode gives you a little bit of wanderlust, I can recommend a book to you, um, which is by Jessie Q. Sutanto. She's an Asian writer, and the book is called Vera Wang's Unsolicited Advice. No, Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers. I'm getting confused because she has a tea house in Chinatown, and it's called Vera Wang's world famous tea house, something like that.
Okay.
Because she's like, oh, Wong, that's close to Wang, and Vera Wang is famous, so we'll just use that one.
She is.
So I
She's very
constantly
famous.
keep getting confused. But yeah, really good book, highly recommended. Very cozy crime found family, with a bunch of little San Francisco landmarks here and there.
If you want to get out of the city for a little bit, if you head north from San Francisco a few miles, there is a park called Muir Woods. And this is where you can see the very famous redwood trees. They are some of the biggest
Yeah.
trees in the world. Very, very famous, definitely here in the States as well. They're huge. I have actually never seen them. I wish I had. They are huge. They are 100, couple 100 years old. They're so tall, and when you see pictures of people standing next to them, you look like little ants. Like it is, they are just
That sounds like
gigantic.
fun.
Yeah, no, the only reason last time I was there for a wedding and we only had like 2 days
Yeah.
outside of like the day of the wedding to do stuff. And we also didn't have a car. That's the kind of
Mm.
place like it's probably a little easier because San Francisco is very, very expensive. Ubers in San Francisco. Like my mom and I were in San Francisco. I think it was right after Portugal. It was like the week we had gone to Portugal for girls who travel, had a week in between, and then had to go to San Francisco for the wedding. And when we were taking the Ubers in San Francisco, we were so used to like the Portugal Uber prices, which are way cheaper. Like
Yeah.
a basic Uber in San Francisco will run you like $65
Wow.
for nothing. Yeah. So that was the reason we didn't go to Muir Woods. We did not rent a car and we were not
Yeah.
Ubering there. It was not happening.
No, no, no.
But highly recommend. It is somewhere that I would like to see the next time I'm out in that area. If you're in the mood for like a good farmer's market, because who doesn't love a good farmer's market? There are some really, really nice ones in San Francisco on the weekends that are down by the wharfs. They've got all of your typical farmer's market, fresh fruits, vegetables, things from the garden, people with their homemade like baked goods and honey and all those kind of things. And there's also a lot of vendors with like hot food. Like we had empanadas, I think, for breakfast. There's all sorts of like hot food vendors there as well. It's a very, very big farmers market. Alcatraz is another very, very famous San Francisco
Very
landmark.
famous.
It's
Yep.
formerly a very high security prison. It's out. on a little island, kind of out in the water a little bit. You can see it very, very well from land. Like if you're on Fisherman's Wharf and the weather's good, you can get some really, really good pictures of it. But you also can take a tour of it. So they put you on a little boat and they bring you out. I actually did this the second time. The first time I saw it, the second time I was like, I want to go. They put you on a little boat and you go across the water and you walk up the hill and there you are. And they actually bring you through the prison. You can stand in some of the cells. It's really eerie. It's really like creepy
Mm,
because it's
yeah.
all dilapidated and paint is peeling and stuff's
Yikes.
crumbling and stuff. But it's really interesting to see it. Cable car rides, as we mentioned before, more of an experience rather than a legitimate means of transportation.
Mm, I see.
But you do it just like, oh look, I rode the cable car, you know.
I'm
If
seeing a
you're
lot of
in
parallels between San Francisco and Lisbon.
Lisbon, I know I am too. As I said it, I was like, wait a minute. If you are into like more art history, the San Francisco MoMA, Museum of Modern Art, is there. The Presidio, which is it used to be a military base. That's where my friend actually got married. It's a big chapel, a big garden now, really, really beautiful view of the Golden Gate Bridge. The Palace of Fine Arts is a really interesting place to visit as well. Ghirardelli Square, as I mentioned. And then for our Full House fans, you may remember that Full House took place in San Francisco, and you can go to Broderick Street and you can see the Full House house, the Full House home. The house that they used is there. So
Nice.
if you go there, you can get a glimpse of it. So there's lots more to do. That's barely, barely, barely skimming the surface. But those are, I think, the highlights. Like if you're going to go to San Francisco for a few days, what do I have to do? What can't I miss? I feel like that's a pretty good list, and that'll keep you very busy. All right. So one more kind of note, and this is not a dig at San Francisco whatsoever. It is merely just a fact. California, in particular, experiences a lot of issues with drugs and homelessness, especially in the bigger cities like Los Angeles, like San Francisco. And over time, the sad fact is that certain areas of San Francisco, especially like if you ever hear the Tenderloin District, have just become known as
Hotspots.
areas that are yes, like if somebody in America hears the Tenderloin District, you know immediately drugs and homelessness
And
rampant.
that's good to
And
know
that's the
because I've
thing.
never heard it before as a
Right.
foreigner.
Right. So if you are not familiar with San Francisco, if you're not from the US, maybe it's still an amazing place. You should still absolutely visit, but it is something to be aware of that certain parts of the city that you could stumble onto by accident fairly easily are very, very dangerous. Even in the middle of the day, I would not ever go to any like to the Tenderloin District. So some parts of the city are considered very unsafe. So just make sure that as you're planning like where to stay and where to go, and if you're going to be walking a lot, make sure that you know kind of where to avoid and where it's more okay. Earthquakes are also an issue in California. They're very not super common, but they do happen. So just kind of be aware of that as well. Definitely, it's not something you can plan around. It's not like going to the
No,
Caribbean. It's not
it's
like,
like
oh,
I'm
I
thinking the
shouldn't go to the
same
Caribbean
thing.
during hurricane season. Like
Yeah.
you can't plan around it, but just kind of be aware of what to do during an earthquake. California gets earthquakes frequently compared to the rest of the United States, and they are typically a lot stronger than most because of where they are. And if you're traveling internationally, obviously we have kind of a border situation going on right now a little
Yeah.
bit. So um, if you're not comfortable, just consider waiting until that situation calms itself down.
Yep, that's definitely what I'll do and why I won't be going to San Francisco anytime soon. Also, if I were going to the States, I'd probably have to visit Carli first. So, yeah,
If
that's
you
the wrong
came to
side
the
of the
States and did
country.
not visit me, I would have a rebellion. There would be an uprising. Just know. If I
Yeah,
found out that Sophia was in the US and
it
didn't come to visit
wouldn't
me,
cross my mind. I wouldn't
the
dare.
next episode would be like, Away She Goes is ending after the next. I'd get on and be like, this is a PSA. I'm leaving. Away She Goes. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't do that. Anyway, so yeah, those are kind of the basics of traveling to San Francisco, things to do, what to be aware of, that kind of thing.
And there you have it, dear listener. You go to Ghirardelli Square, eat some good food in Chinatown, look at some seals, maybe visit a prison, and but hopefully just Alcatraz, not a real prison. Not encouraging that.
Don't go to a real prison. Just go to
No, no,
Alcatraz.
no. Yeah, yeah, and yeah, that's your quick San Francisco itinerary. Safe travels.
That's all for this episode. If you'd like more Oishi Goes in your life, make sure to stop by girlswhotravel.org/podcast. That's where you can fill out a form if you're interested in being a guest on the show. You can also write to us at oishigosgwt@gmail.com or leave us a message on our Google voicemail from any phone or computer at 1-563-503-6323. To follow our adventures, you can follow me on Instagram. I'm at Carli Sees the World. Carli is spelled Carli.
You can also follow me at Sophia AEZ, Sophia with a PH. Away She Goes is part of Girls Who Travel, a community dedicated to radically redefining travel to be inclusive, sustainable, and empowering. You can learn more about GWT, find travel tips and support, shop travel themed items made by GWT members, and join our Facebook group with nearly 100,000 women all around the world at girlswhotravel.org. We can't wait to connect and explore with you. Away she goes.